So, real quick, I want to go over a video I came across. Because I'm always watching a lot of religious debate material, just to get better understanding of things you hear people say about the Bible, etc. And biblical. Mainly my concern is like law and prophecy, but so I'm always interested in discussions. And so this gentleman here, he wrote a book, I guess, How to Tell the Truth, a guy named Preston Perry, who's not telling the truth. And so I just think this is more so than the content, this is a good example of why, like, people trying to sound smart who aren't smart, they only sound smart to dumb people. And you don't want to be a victim of this, right? You don't want to be a victim of people, particularly in America, who try to sound smart and sell books, but they only can do that to people that are stupid, right? If you're stupid and you can't think for yourself, then you have some babbling coon like this guy telling you some bullshit like this. So I'm gonna play it, let you check it out.
Told me to, oh, you full of bleep. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, if God commands me to love my enemies, which the scripture tells us to.
I mean, what do you think Jesus is doing on the cross?
Right?
Yeah.
And so I say,
so let me stop that right there, right? So the first thing, so you get this white man, right? You gotta watch the satanic nature of this. You get this white man proposing that Jesus died on the cross to save the Roman soldiers who murdered him, right? And so Christ, I'm not gonna get into the particulars of this. I'm gonna just go with it as people think about it, right? There's a lot of things wrong with what I'm saying, but you should be able to catch on. So the white man, he proposes that, what he's proposing is that the gospel in the Bible is about, you gotta look at the symbology of it, right? Roman soldiers were colonizers who colonized North Africa, right? Libya, all around North Africa, right? Egypt, etc. And most of the people they were colonizing were black people. Obviously, if they were coming from Rome, going into North Africa, the people they were attacking were either gonna be Arabs or black people, right? Or some variation thereof, Semitic people, okay? That's a no-brainer. We don't have to debate that. So what he's proposing is that Christ, who was a Judean, and we all know was a dark-skinned, would be considered by today's standard a black man, right? Because in the book of Acts it says the Roman soldiers called the Israelite tribes, they called these guys niggers. In the book of Acts, I think it's Acts 17, right? So we know they would be considered black people by today's standards, according to the Bible, right? What the white man is proposing is that when these colonizing races murdered Christ at the behest of traitors, like the black man sitting beside him, right, will be considered the Pharisees and the people in Jesus' so-called tribe that sold him out to the Romans to get him killed, to get him out of the way, right? So they sold out to the colonizers, the racist colonizers who invaded North Africa, and then had a guy who was giving them problems, Christ, had him killed and murdered by the Roman soldiers. Now that's what happened, right? That's this black man on the screen sitting beside this white Roman. But he's trying to get you to think that it's the opposite. He's trying to get you to think that Jesus Christ was dying and get the people that was murdering him, the Roman soldiers, right? He was dying to save them. He was being murdered by them, but then he wanted to save them. When Christ was trying to save people, we know that the salvation he was talking about was for his people. He wasn't talking about saving the Roman soldiers that killed him, that murdered him. unjustly. But this is what these people are trying to get you to believe, which is a very slavish mentality. I don't think anybody could disagree with that, except this coon that is sitting beside this white man, trying to sell you a book. And he's trying to appear intelligent to stupid people. He's trying to get something over you like you stupid. He wants you to believe that the Christ in the, being killed by Roman colonizing racist soldiers, him and this white man is trying to convince you that the Jesus Christ of the Bible is trying to save the Romans who murdered him and colonized his land, that he wasn't against them. This is what he's trying to tell you. And he's trying to tell you, as a black person in the same position, you shouldn't be against anybody trying to colonize you, enslave you, subjugate you, or discriminate against you in any way. I mean, you make up your mind for yourself, but that's just the truth of the matter. You see? And the only way you get around that is if you escape into an alternate reality that he's trying to sell to get you to believe different. Right? He's trying to get you to believe. Now, I mean, just think about, let's take religion out of it. Right? Let's just take religion out of it. Think about it today. Is there any group today, you look at the Gaza Strip, you look at what the white people in Israel came in and did, Israel, Palestine came in and did to those people. You look at the American Indians, you look at any group today, right? Is there any group today that you think wants to be, South Africa, anywhere, right? South America, anywhere. I don't know, other than Mexicans, they seem like they like being colonized, or the Indians in Mexico, but is there any group today, right, that in real life, I mean, just take it out of the religious realm, that likes being colonized, discriminated against, subjugated, enslaved, had their land and resources stolen from them, and then turns around and says, I really want to love the people that's doing it? But this is what they try to shove down your throat in America. I mean, look around you. Is there any group other than a bunch of bitch-made, battling coons like this guy, but I'm just saying generally, right? Is there any group that just said, hey, this sounds good to me, I'll take some of that. Sign me up for that. No. So if that doesn't exist today, why would you think that the Judeans, who were occupied by the Romans, would want to be murdered by them and then forgive them? Let's take it away, take it out of Christianity. Because the Jesus Christ was an occupied human being, yes or no? Right? That's easily provable. Was he a Roman? No. Was he in Rome? No. He was in his homeland. Yes? Correct. Okay, so if he was in his own homeland, the Roman soldiers that murdered him were occupying white people from Rome, right? Who took over his land, was subjugating them, and then murdered him. He was set up and then murdered, right? Why would he want to save them? Just take it out of religion. You don't see that happening today. And they say, well, they deify this figure called Christ and say, well, no, he was different. He's changing things. But he didn't. That's all falsehoods. I'm going to come back on the next part and continue this.